Good morning and welcome to Adaptive Chicago Productions, where we have to deal with a disability issue, one of many. My guest here is Debbie Pittman, talking to us about the TAP and RAP program with PACE. Good morning, Debbie, and how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Ken, today. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in this issue.
I got involved in this issue because I'm a part of Concerned Citizens of Paratransit, and it was brought to my attention when I got ready to load my TAP card on the internet that PACE had a report on their website about a hearing, an upcoming hearing. And in this particular notice, it's told that the hearings were going to take place as of July 24th, and that these hearings, they were supposed to start July 24th and end on July 30th, and they all came out of an ordinance that had been passed by the RTA as of June 12th that no one knew about. And this ordinance said that the TAP and RAP, which is Taxi Access Program and Rideshare Access Program for those that use the Uber portion of the paratransit service, that those rides were going to be lowered. They were going to go down from 8 trips a day, which is the equivalent of 4 round trips, down to 1 trip, 1 single trip. And the cost of those trips, which is currently $2 per trip, was going to go up to $3.25. But yet there were no notices put on the buses, or no one knew about this if you didn't happen to go to the website to load your TAP card. So at the point that we found out about this, we then started putting out the word so that people could know. And one of the key issues with this is that the meetings that were supposed to start July 24th, they were not in the city proper. They were in places like Kane County, Crystal Lake, places where it was not easy to get to. They only had one meeting scheduled on July 30th that was going to be in the city of Chicago proper, which took place at the satellite MOPD office at 2102 West Ogden. We attended that meeting. Needless to say, there were quite a number of paratransit riders there that did attend that meeting. Since that time, we have been circulating a petition through concerned citizens of Paratransit, as well as with the help of Progress Center for Independent Living and Access Living. We've been circulating a petition to fight these changes. We also attended a rally on August 21st, this past Thursday, as well as attended the RTA board meeting that followed that rally. And I'm sure they had not seen that many people with disabilities at an RTA meeting in a very long time. I would say it was probably somewhere close to 50 people with disabilities that were there to speak out about that situation.
How many signatures do you have on your petition now?
We currently have 885 when I looked this morning. We are attempting to get 5,000 because we are sending those petitions to the legislators. We want as many people to sign and support this issue as possible because it should not be taking place. It is unreasonable to expect people with disabilities to take one single trip. So they're talking about 30 trips a month. Well, if there's 31 days in the month, you won't be able to take a trip that day at all.
Yes, I would certainly look to me like it's awfully restrictive. And it's like they're deciding for you how many places you need to go. Well, if you are an able-bodied person, you make that decision yourself. And so that's the way it is with us. We should be making that decision ourselves.
Exactly right. See, and they're attempting what they're doing now because it was brought out with WGN that they had not had any meetings to include us prior to this ordinance being passed. So now RTA is in the process of going different places like Progress Center and Second Sense and having what they're calling informational meetings. But those informational meetings are solely for the purpose of having an individual learn how to use the fixed route system. And this is their justification, their idea. Oh, well, see, you'll be able to ride the fixed route system. But if a person cannot ride the fixed route system in the first place, telling them that they will be able to ride it for free is not helping. It's like you're saying, oh, well, you can swim across the lake. We'll let you swim for free, but you can't even swim in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that help you? It doesn't. And they're behaving as though they're doing us a favor. Oh, according to the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, we don't have to provide that service. This is extra. Oh, but they're not factoring in that the Americans with Disabilities Act was amended in 1996. And a part of that amendment was that to paratransit service was supposed to be added a same-day service. And this is how the TAP came into play. The RAP portion of it only came in just a few years ago. But TAP has been into play for at least 20 years. And it came in because of that amendment to the Americans with Disabilities Act in 1996.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of work has been done in that area. Can you clarify for the viewers out here, because one of our crew members was telling me that the cuts had already been passed, and that you were saying that NBC News had incorrectly reported it. But he was at that same meeting where you were, where he said that the cuts were already passed. Can you clarify that?
No, the cuts have not gone into play yet. In fact, WGN, someone contacted me from WGN yesterday to say that according to what they were told, it won't happen before October 1st. And also, someone from RTA did contact the executive director of Progress Center and said nothing would happen for another month.
That's good, because then you've got some time to really work on this, make sure you make it stick.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So anyone wishing to sign on to our petition, and you just need an email address and your name. The petition is, you can either go to it either one of two ways. You can either go to www.petitions.com and then do a search for Paratransit, and you'll find concerned citizens or of Paratransit. Or you can go directly to it through tinyurl.com/mrdkh2ky.
That's good to have that information. I was, you must be reading my mind, because I was going to ask you what the contact info would be to for anybody wanting to know how to give their signature.
Well, that is it.
That's good, and probably before we wrap up, I'll have you give that information again for people to either write it down or put it in their smartphones, in their smart devices, and stuff like that. So it looks like significant progress has been made in that area. However, your work isn't done.
No, it's far from done. It's far from done, because we want the legislatures to know what is going on. They need to look at this. They need to be aware of what is happening to people with disabilities.
Well, see, the issue here, Debbie, is that, like it's always been, people without disabilities are the ones making the decisions for us. That has to stop.
Exactly right.
That has to stop. And it's even going on at the federal level with, you've got politicians. You've got politicians every day writing down things, going to meetings, but they're making decisions for that don't affect them. That they're making decisions that affect us.
Exactly.
And that's
right.
why they're not doing it right.
Exactly right. That's why in our petition we mention nothing about us without us.
There you go. There you go. I mean, and because that's exactly what, that was the vision that Dr. Jacobus Tinbrook had in 1940 when he founded the NFB.
That is correct.
Because that's exactly what he said. He said blind people have the right to live in the world with everyone else. Well, it's that way with the cross-disability population. All of us have the right to live in the world and coexist with each other.
Exactly right.
And we cannot do that unless we listen to and understand each other, really hear each other.
Exactly right. And I will say one other thing. WGN was supposed to correct this because they had reported that people riding paratransit ride for free. And that is absolutely not true. We have to pay $3.25 per trip.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing that does get corrected, because that's been a problem all along with the general public. And I certainly, I'm 72 years old and I've been blind since day one. And since 1982, so that'll be 43 years, September 23rd, was when I graduated with my first guide dog. With all of the conflict resolution that I have had to do with the public over the years, I can tell you the biggest myth and misconception, and I've been through this from having grown up on welfare. Well, welfare isn't what they call it anymore. It's a new term, but that's what they called it then. The biggest myth and misconception is that we get everything handed to us, and that's just not true.
No, it's not. No, it is not.
That's just not true. I mean, I can't count how many times my mother, who was also blind, would have to tell people, no, this isn't, what you think it is. I witnessed many arguments where people would say to her, oh, you welfare recipients, you have vacations on Maui every year. What welfare recipient has a vacation on Maui, and how many welfare recipients do you know? But again, when people make judgments like that, our president, as a matter of fact, blamed people with disabilities for that plane crash that took place over Washington in January. This man has never met a person with a disability. He hasn't heard from us. He has no idea what we need or what we want, nor does he care.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, that's probably saying a little bit too much for a show that goes on for public viewing, but again, I don't apologize, because that information needs to get out there for consciousness raising, because people who who do not have disabilities, they don't think about us. And if I had a halfpenny for every time I would encounter a member of the public that would say, well, when I see a guy like you, notice they say a guy like you remind me of everything I take for granted. And I always respond with, no, do not put that on me, because you made a choice. If you make a choice to do something, you can make that same choice not to.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
So I don't know how we're doing for time, but I'll tell you what. Do you have any final thoughts you would like to tell the public?
My final thoughts to tell the public is sign our petition and be more conscious of people with disabilities. We wish to live the lives that we want to live just like everyone else. And no decision should be made without including the very people that are being affected by the situation. Sign our petition by either going to www.ipetitions.com and doing Paratransit, Paratransit, search under Paratransit, or go directly to it by going to http:// tinyurl.com/mrdkh2ky. And we thank you for supporting our efforts to help make the lives of people with disabilities better.
Thank you very much for coming, Debbie. We are closing the show. And this is Kenny Borst, your host. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and have a good day. Bye-bye.